Welcome to NeoRoyal, where we play to win. Wait, no, that's not right. Welcome to NeoRoyal, House of Pricey Cardboard. On today's episode of Commander Gameplay, we have some very special guests. Me and Kelly will be playing with Dylan and Cameron from the PlaytoWin channel. PlaytoWin is mainly a EDH gameplay channel, but they have some casual decks in the back ready to play. Make sure to check them out and watch a video with Dylan's double Tymna deck. It's an amazing list. Before we get to the match, I want to thank our generous Patreons for supporting the channel and want to offer a goal to all of you listeners. If we can get up to 20 Patreons, I will be uploading an additional game once a month. I don't want to set up the goals too high, but if we can reach this objective, I will be setting a second goal to get a second bonus game each month. Enjoy the show! Dylan will be playing Edgar Markov, a deck he likes a lot and put a lot of effort into blinging the pieces, the basic lands and other nice goodies. The strategy is pretty simple: play a lot of low-costed vampires, get additional tokens from the Imminence ability, and take out his opponents by good old combat damage. It's an optimized version of the deck, but pretty low on tutors and combo. Cameron will be playing Maelstrom Wanderer. This really powerful commander is looking to ramp as fast as possible to get some cascade triggers to reveal powerful spells like Titans, Primal Dinosaurs, extra turns, or even more cascades. Never underestimate this commander, as it can go out of hand pretty quickly. Kelly will be playing Kruphix, God of Horizon. This is an Eldrazi list looking to use Kruphix's ability to get some colorless creatures out a lot sooner than you should be able to. So we've got a lot of ramp, untapping action, a lot of control to reach the late game, and big annihilating Eldrazis. For myself, I'm taking a break from Yuriko and getting back to my true dimir love, the Scarab god. This is a zombie tribal looking to either attack in the early game with zombies and anthems, or take the slow approach to build a board and use my commander's triggered and activated ability to control the table, my deck, and bring my opponents to 0 life. Dylan's opening hand contains Dusk Legion Zealot, Pyre of Heroes, Night's Whisper, Bolas Citadel, Sacred Foundry, a basic Plains, and a basic Swamp. Cameron's opening hand contains Keruga the Macro Sage, Treachery, Genesis Ultimatum, Pungify, Rampant Growth, a Soul Ring, and a single basic Forest. Kelly's opening hand contains Tassa, God of the Sea, Finally of Devastation, Doubling Cube, Sanctum of Ujin, Rogue's Passage, and 2 basic forests. My opening hand contains CDC Undead Vizier, Arcane Adaptation, Windfall, Expedition Map, Deserted Temple, Sunken Ruins, and a basic island. Cameron gets to start this off, and land drops a forest. He then casts Soul Ring. I land drop an island, and cast Expedition Map. Kelly land drops a forest. And Dylan land drops Sacred Foundry untapped. He then uses the red mana for a Stromkirk Noble. Edgar Markov Imminence triggers on cast and he creates a 1/1 vampire token. Cameron casts Rampant Growth for a basic island. He then pass. I land drop a Sunken Ruins and pass. Kelly land drops an island.
Well, don't worry, I'm not coming after you. Cameron played a Soul Ring, so he's the threat right now.
Yeah, I figured that. I had no second land drop, if that means.
Yeah, you still have 4 times as much mana as me right now somehow.
Dylan land drops a Swamp. Ending into combat, the Noble and Token attack Cameron. The Noble triggers on damage and gets a +1/+1 counter. In second main, Dylan casts Dusk Legion Zealot. Markov triggers for a token. Entering the battlefield, Dylan loses a life and draws a card. Cameron casts Sky Shroud Claims. I use this moment to get a land from my deck with the Expedition Map. I get an Ancient Tomb. Cameron gets Breeding Pool and a Kitraya Triome. He pays 2 life to have the pool enter untapped. He then pass. I then drop Polluted Delta and crack it for an Underground Sea. I then cast Arcane Adaptation, naming Zombie. Kelly then drops a forest and casts Tassa, God of the Sea. Dylan goes straight to combat on his turn, sending the Noble to Cameron, Dusk Legion and the token to me, and a token to Kelly. The Noble triggers on damage for a +1/+1 counter. In second main, Dylan casts Blood Artist, getting a token on cast. He then drops a basic Plains and casts Cold Clamp. On his turn, Cameron casts Cruel Signet. He then casts Keruga the Macro Sage. Entering the battlefield, he draws a card as Keruga costs 3 or more. He then pass. I land drop Ancient Tomb and cast my commander, the Scarab god.
The hour of eternity is upon us.
Kelly gets a scry at a rock key. She then drops an island and casts Finally of Devastation where X equals 2. She gets a Priest of Titania on the battlefield and pass. Dylan then drops her boy, Tomb of Yawgmoth. He heads into combat, sending everything at Kelly for 7. In second main, Dylan casts Knight's Whisper. Not satisfied with his draws, he uses the Skull Clamp on a token. It dies and causes him to draw 2 cards. Blood Artist also triggers for 1 at Cameron. He clamps another token, getting the same triggers, and goes to discard.
Did you draw 6 cards that turn?
That was quite a lot. Yeah, that was 6 cards.
7 if you include your draw step, I guess.
Yeah.
Cameron casts Treachery.
You want a vampire or would you like a Scarab god?
Oh, maybe he wants a Priest of Titania.
That's true. Yeah, you want more ramp. You're missing your land drops, right?
This is actually a hard decision, and I didn't make my decision before I cast the spell, because I really don't like how every single Blood Artist trigger is going to come at me. But Scarab,
if you don't take one of my vampires, I won't send any more Blood Artists at you.
well, I don't believe you. You were the guy that said I had the soul and you had to come after me.
He gains control of my commander and untaps his 4 lands and my Ancient Tomb. He then casts Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. Getting a Cascade, he reveals Cultivate. Getting a mountain on the battlefield and a forest to his hand, which he plays as his land for turn. Going to combat, Keruga attacks Dylan. On my turn, I consider casting Windfall to get more interesting cards in my hand, but I will be fueling all my opponents, so I change my mind. I then drop a Deserted Temple and cast Grave Titan. Entering the battlefield, I get 2 zombie tokens. Kitty scries at her upkeep and bottoms it. She then drops a Rogue's Passage and then casts her commander, Kruphix, God of Horizon.
Knowledge is cruel. It will break your heart and test your allegiance. Are you certain you want this curse?
Dylan casts Legion's Landing, getting a token as the enchantment enters. He then drops a Blood Crypt untapped and casts Pyre of Heroes. For his combat step, he sends 3 vampires to Kelly. Legion Landing triggers an attack and flips into a Danto the first fort. In second main, Dylan activates the Pyre of Heroes, sacrificing the Dusk Legion to get a 3-drop from his deck. If you ever played against Markov, you know that Captivating Vampire is coming. He then casts Falconrat Gorger, getting a token on cast. Reacting to the imminence, Cameron casts Pungify on the Captivating Vampire. Blood Artist triggers for 1. Cameron then drops an island, and then casts his commander, Maelstrom Wanderer.
As the shards merged into the Maelstrom, their mana energies fused into new monstrosities.
He gets an additional Cascade from Emoti. The first non-land is Venser Shaper Savant. Entering the battlefield, Venser returns Maelstrom Wanderer to Cameron's hand. The other 2 Cascade will still happen as they are on the stack. The next Cascade is a Time Warp. The final Cascade is Italy Primal Storm. Emoti triggers on Italy's cast and he gets another Cascade, turning Maelstrom Wanderer into an Apex Devastator. The final Cascade for the turn is a Kodoma's Reach. He gets a forest on the battlefield and a mountain to hand. Heading into combat, Keruga attacks Dylan, who blocks with a beast and a 1/1 lifelink token. We then go to Cameron's extra turn. He then drops a mountain and recasts his commander for another 3 Cascade.
And, well, here it goes again.
The first Cascade is a Garruk Wildspeaker. The second Cascade is a Mole Drifter. Entering the battlefield, he gets to draw 2 cards. The final Cascade is a Bloodbraid Elf, which makes it not the final Cascade. He gets an Eternal Witness from the Elf.
Do not get that Time Warp.
I'm not getting Time Warp. I can't handle this. I'm gonna get Pognify back. Getting back Pognify. Oh my god, I have a headache.
Entering the battlefield, he gets Pungify back to his hand, showing us a bit of mercy. He +1 Garruk to untap 2 lands. He then casts Oracle of Muldaya. He reveals Omniscience on top of his deck. He goes to combat, sending Maelstrom to me, Italy Muldrifter Bloodbraid Elf and the Witness to Dylan, while Oracle, Venser and Emoti attacks Kelly. Italy triggers on attack and exile 2 lands, All is Dust and Omniscience. Cameron casts only the Omniscience, which is still extremely bad news for us. I then declare a zombie as blocker, Kelly and Dylan declares no block. In second main, Cameron casts Genesis Ultimatum. He reveals Command Beacon, Farsi, Beast Within, a Forest, and Sulphur Falls. We miss the Cascade from Emoti. He then casts Fact of Fiction, revealing Cryptic Command, Mystic Confluence, Crop Rotation, Coma, Cosmos Serpent, and Explosive Vegetation. I get to pick the piles. I put each command in a separated pile, Coma with the Mystic and the other 2 with Cryptic. Cameron picks the 2-card pile. Looking back at this now, I should have put Coma with the Cryptic as it draws less cards and does not cascade with Emoti. And Genda was a really good Fact or Fiction for Cameron whatever I picked. He casts Mystic Confluence to draw 3. He then followed it up with Arcane Signet. He then casts Coma, Cosmos Serpent. Emoti triggers on cast and cascades into Kira, Great Glass Spinner. He then casts Farsi to not discard and pass. I untap and consults with the table to see what's the plan of action. Dylan has a Dispark and Kelly has a Frozen Grip, so I decide not to windfall.
Oh, it's not dead right now?
Oh, I see.
We're just pawning against it.
I'll then drop a Myriad Landscape and cast CDC Undead Vizier. Entering the battlefield, I exploit my token to tutor for a Toxic Deluge. Sadly out of mana, I pass. Kelly then drops Sanctum of Eugen. She begins by casting Crescent Grip on Omniscience. She then casts Wilderness Reclamation, and then doubling Cube. At the end step, Kelly untaps her lands. Dylan draws and overloads a Wind of Abandon.
Oh wow, that was the best top deck. Oh, I'm not even gonna think about it. Overload, Winds of Abandon.
Oh, that is pretty good.
Cameron can get up to 11 lands, but finds only 9 remaining in his deck. Heading into combat, Dylan full swings at Cameron. The Noble gets yet another +1/+1 counter. Dylan then pass. Cameron then drops Thespian Stage. He then recasts his commander. The first Cascade reveals Dak Faden. The second Cascade is Sunbird's Invocation. Is there nothing but gas in this deck? Cameron -2 his Planeswalker to steal doubling Cube. Reacting to the target, Kelly floats and doubles her mana before giving the cube away. Cameron then casts Bribery, targeting Kelly. Sunbird's trigger and he gets to cast Uro, Titan of every format. Entering the battlefield, Cameron gets to draw a card and gain 3 life. Uro then goes to the graveyard. Reacting to the Bribery, Kelly casts Shared Summons. This way, she gets to remove the 2 scariest pieces in her deck. She gets her 2 original Eldrazi Titans into her hand. Sadly for us, there is still a good selection of big Eldrazi creatures to take. Cameron picks Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. After that, Uro escapes from the graveyard, getting his ETB again. He then land drops Inter and Arbor and casts Regrow. The Sunburst triggers but whiffs on the top 2. He returns Genesis Ultimatum to his hand. He then recasts the Ultimatum. Sunbird's triggers, and he gets to cast Inferno Titan for free. Entering the battlefield, he points a damage at Blood Artist and the remaining 2 at me. Blood Artist triggers on death and Dylan targets Cameron. The Ultimatum then resolves. He gets a Simic Signet, 2 lands, and Nezahal Primal Tide on the table, while Time Spiral goes to his hand. He then casts the Time Spiral. Sunburst triggers, and he gets to cast Temur Sabertooth. Time Spiral then resolves. With the now untapped lands, he casts Kogla the Titan Ape. Sunburst triggers, and he casts Crop Rotation, sacrificing a land to get Dark Depth.
Well, we still haven't played, I think, since the Exile White, Leo and I.
Oh, you know what? That is true. Oh my god, wow, that felt so long ago. I hate saying that. This is the stack of lands I haven't played. My lands and artifacts that tap for mana, that's what this is.
Oh my god. Well, I'm pretty sure you don't have any more lands in this deck.
He then goes to combat, sending Inferno Titan to me, Ulamog, Uro, and Temur Sabertooth to Kelly, and Maelstrom, Nezahal, and Kogla to Dylan. On attack, Kelly exiles her top 20 cards. Uro gains Cameron 3 life and draws a card, and then the Inferno Titan deals 1 to Dylan and 2 to me. Damage then happens, and both Kelly and Dylan are taken out. On my turn, I'll end up a Temple of Deceit, scrying 1. I have sadly nothing in hand and nothing on top of my deck, and give the game to Cameron. Well played.
Maybe this will help. Let me zoom out a little bit. Now you can actually see a little bit more of what I'm working with here.
God, Cameron, you could have done this whole time?
I forgot.
For months we've been playing these. For months, and you're zoomed all the way in, and you could just do this whenever you wanted.
Apparently I could have.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill you. Jeez. That's so fun. I'm just gonna. Oh my god. I'm just gonna laugh more and more the more I think about this entire time. You've been this close, and you just chose to not lift it up.
I completely forgot that every time we go to play, I forget that you can zoom. Like, every couple of months I'll remember, but it will never be when I actually play the game.
Oh my god.
That's so much easier to look at. I can understand what your board is now.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you to PlaytoWin for making this match possible. They really lived up to their name and dominated the table. At least this time. Make sure to subscribe for more EDH content, consider becoming a Patreon for even more content. This has been Neo from the House of Pricey Cardboard. Take care my friend, and we'll see you very soon.